y'all, listen, happy Thursday, okay? It is Trending Topics Thursday, and I'm glad to see y'all in the building. Now, y'all know, don't cheat the diva. Y'all need to hit the like button, okay? Get your ticket to get on this train, because we got a ride tonight, honey. It's the apology tour, okay? People are apologizing in these streets, and some people are not. But maybe they should be on the apology tour. But we're going to be the judge over here. Yes, we are. We're going to judge tonight. We got a.reid. Woo. Good goodness, good goodness, good goodness. We got a.reid. He's being sued for SA and SH. Y'all got to fill in the blanks because you know YouTube is sensitive. And we don't want to drive YouTube crazy. But yeah, a.reid is being sued. We're going to talk about it, everybody. And then we're going to talk about Robert De Niro. Yeah, he was sued by his ex-assistant, and she won. Now his company got to pay her $1.2 million. We're going to talk about it. Yes, we are. Come on now, Raheem. Cheaters never prosper. Hit that like button, y'all. Okay? And then Timbaland. He said that Justin Timberlake should have put a muzzle on Britney Spears' mouth. Well, Justin Timberlake wasn't ready for Britney Spears fans. No, he wasn't. They came for his neck, and so he issued an apology. Say he didn't even know what he was talking about. He said too much. He spoke too soon. He spoke too fast. Nowadays, you can't have your own opinion. No, you cannot. Because the minute you say something somebody doesn't like, they're ready to cancel you. So he took the memo and he understood it. And he came back and said, I apologize. I'm sorry. I didn't know what I was even talking about. Grown man said he didn't know what he was talking about. He knew what he was talking about. He said, put a muzzle on her mouth. But he put the train in reverse and he backtracked and he apologized. I give it to him for apologizing. Now we're going to get into these stories today. Y'all ready? If you're ready, can I get a what in the chat or what? Choo choo. All aboard, everybody. We're about to board this train for Trending Topics on Thursday night, honey. It's the apology tour. Are you ready? Because we're about to get in this. Hey, E.
Hey, Diva.
Hey, in my opinion. Hey, Felicia.
Hello.
Hey, sis Juliet.
Hey, everyone. Hey, everybody.
Hey,
well, wait, what I do, Wayne? I gotta let you in the building.
And
hey,
y'all
Wayne.
hit the like button or else we going on strike.
Come on now, we going on strike. Y'all hit that like button. Hey,
everybody.
Hey, Wayne. Hello. So you know what, guys? I'm gonna go ahead and start out with Robert De Niro. Now he know better, but who knew he a piece of work? He got mad at the assistant because the assistant, didn't wake him up on time for some meetings. She wouldn't scratch his back, so he had words for her, but the words cost him $1.2 million. Yeah, it did. We're going to talk about it. Hold on one second. Let's get right into this Robert De Niro story. Let me share a screen with y'all. Where's Robert? Okay, come on, Robert De Niro. He should be somewhere chilling, especially he got a new baby. But instead, he cursing people out. This is just one of the videos or voicemails they had of Robert De Niro telling the assistant off. Hold on now. Let's see if y'all can hear this.
You're living in Spain and you're fucking upset with me because you tell me how nice you have it, your life over there, then you fucking don't answer my call? How dare you? You're about to be fired. You're fucking history. How dare you? With all the good things you do, this is bullshit. After Christmas, fuck this. How dare you fucking disrespect me? How much you did? You want a fucking another position? You want another position? Then say you want another position. Go off somewhere. But don't fucking get angry with me because I'm pissed off because I didn't get a simple thing that I need right now here out in California when I'm here for less than 24 hours. You gotta be fucking kidding me, you spoiled brat. Fuck you. So quit whatever you want. God damn it! How could you fucking say you don't answer? You're upset because you're living in Spain. You spoiled fucking brat.
Oh, that's how you speak to your employee. Well, it cost your company $1.2 million. So Robert De Niro, the jury ordered the actor's company to pay $1.2 million to the ex-assistant. So Robert De Niro just lost big in New York courtroom after a jury stocked his production company with a $1.2 million judgment. A jury shut down De Niro's claim that his ex-personal assistant, Graham Chase Robinson, embezzled from him. He has sought $6 million in damages, but after 5 hours of deliberation, the jury tossed his claim. Okay. The jury was way more sympathetic to Robinson's $12 million countersuit, awarding her $1.2 million against Robert De Niro's company's Canal Production. De Niro testified during the 2-week trial, and the jury heard about the tensions between him. The actor admitted he called her an effing spoiled brat when she failed to wake him up for an important appointment. He also admitted that he asked her to scratch his back several times, but scoffed at the notion it was sexual. Robinson called it creepy and disgusting. Robinson claimed she was bullied by De Niro's girlfriend, Tiffany Chen, whom Robinson called a sociopath. The trial, which lasted 8 days, was explosive from start to finish, but now De Niro has got to pay. Whoa, honey. He said, yeah, come on now. Whoa. He called her a brat. He was mad that he missed an appointment, and she wouldn't scratch his back. What are your thoughts?
Well, I understand completely missing. I would be upset too if I had an important appointment. You're my assistant. You're supposed to make sure I get there. To me, depending on how much advance notice you got, and how important the appointment was, I could see that being a write-up, and in some cases, a fireable offense. I can definitely see that. Where I draw the line is, you have to pick another struggle. You're supposed to handle these professional grievances via paperwork. There's supposed to be a chain of discipline. So you don't get to void the chain of discipline and implement verbal abuse, especially in this day and time, because someone listening to that could mistake Robert for being out of his mind and needing to be put in an old folks home, because you're going around, this young woman is accusing you of sexual advances, scratching your back. I can see that someone feeling like that for sure. And then you was just messing with that other woman who's getting $30,000 a month, right? Didn't we just talk about him the other day?
No, that's his buddy. That was Al Pacino. This Robert.
Oh, okay, Al Pacino. Okay, I'm getting all the old white men mixed up. Sorry. So this is how I feel. Listening to that, he was talking like he was talking to his daughter. That whole spoiled brat thing. Listen, I feel like that totally out of line. I'm glad that she got her money, and I feel like bosses beware, because the way that employees have put up with abuse from their supervisors and didn't have a phone. I feel like this should set precedence. Do not go for your boss speaking to you in any type of way. He needs to pay up. And he needs to take a chill pill. He needs to get one of those back scratchers from what do you call that, First Avenue, or from the QC.
Dollar store too. But just do like that right there.
Scratch your thing.
Thank you, E. In my opinion, your thoughts?
I think he's too old to be handling business like this. I would expect him to be more mild mannered in his older age. And I wouldn't expect him to be lashing out like that to anybody, especially not none of his employees. I feel like this is a lack of respect, and his disrespect cost him. And I feel like she got what she deserved, because he deserves to pay out some money if this is how you're going to talk to your employees, because this lady is not your mother, okay? She's not your wife. Her duty should not be to scratch your back and to make sure that you make it to your appointments. You should be on top of that yourself, sir.
Well, the assistant is, that's why you have an assistant though. to keep on top of your appointments. Now, the way he talked to her, I think was foul, but if part of her job is to make sure you getting where you're supposed to be, she should do that. You know what I mean? But I hear you. Go ahead.
I just feel like he's using this as a crutch to belittle this lady. I feel like she probably did her job, and I feel like he's pushing it off on her, like, oh, you made me miss my appointment. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like this is not. I haven't heard that this was an ongoing thing. You see what I'm saying? He didn't say this is the ongoing thing where you keep making me miss my appointments. You know what I'm saying? And then the back scratching was really weird because why would she be scratching your back?
Thank you. My opinion, Felicia, your thoughts?
Okay, so good evening, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. Robert, the man has been a problem. He's been a problem. And he's so arrogant. I am an assistant. And let me tell you, when these people go bat-ish crazy, honey, they can go crazy over anything. But the good news here is that my mayonnaise sisters get paid. Okay, they get paid. They get that kind of let's build a retirement fund money, and I love it. I don't know if he told her in real time about an appointment or where he was supposed to be, but he behaved in a very childish and immature way, and she was smart enough to record it. God bless her. 1.2, she asked for 12. She said, okay, give me the 10% and I'll keep it moving. So no, I don't have no empathy. These kind of bosses, doesn't matter the age or the position, they tend to speak that way. And she was smart enough to get it recorded and brave enough to take him to court. And I commend her. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. He was dumb enough, Alicia. He left it on a voicemail because she wasn't picking up the calls. He's a dummy.
It reminds me of I believe Alec Baldwin had a situation like that. He was just going around leaving his assistants all these nasty recordings. He had to pay for it. And I appreciate that we've come to a place in this country where you have to pay for your bad behavior.
Ooh, yep. Yeah, where is Denzel? We haven't seen him for a while, Velma. I'm not sure. Hopefully he's okay. I'll text him. Yes, Too Good to Leave You Now. I remember Farnsworth, Diddy's assistant. I remember him, and we're gonna leave it there. When we saying I remember him. I do.
His title. I don't know I think he was a little more than an assistant.
Aces. Your thoughts?
A lot of these Hollywood celebrities, they become really arrogant and they feel like, they can just talk to people any type of way. I'm glad that she, used that voice recording and got her money up too, because there was no reason for it. You know what I mean? Like, if he would have asked her nicely, I'm sure that she would have been more than welcoming or, been able to, okay, just scratch his back, if, that's fine, or wake him up for the appointment. But she probably did it out of spite. You know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to be talked to like that. She's a grown woman, calling her a spoiled brat. I don't blame her. Get your money.
Get your coins. All right now. And she got him to the tune of $1.2 million. Julius, your thoughts?
She got paid, but she got paid. She shouldn't be spoken to like that. Right. She got paid what she got paid.
I hear you. All right, Julius. Okay, Wayne, your thoughts?
Curse me out for $1 million. All day long. But I'm glad she had some sense.
Yeah.
And did what she did. But, I'm kind of disappointed at Robert De Niro. I thought that was all acting. This man is treated like that. He even, his verbiage was so mean. I almost felt like he could hurt somebody. I mean, it was violently mean to talk to somebody like that. I mean, that wasn't cursing. He cussed her out. He cussed her out for no reason. So kudos to her.
Well, she got $1.2 million to sit back and chill with and figure it out. I hope she invests well and spend wisely. But yeah, he's a mess, and now he got his mouth got him in trouble. Hopefully he learned the lesson. It's a hard lesson, 1.2 million, but hopefully he learned the lesson.
Now, what is that little baby gonna think about it when he's 100 years old and they run it back?
I ain't fooling with you tonight. Not his baby. I ain't fooling with you tonight. God, I could not.
Listen, my daddy was a mean man.
Yeah, listen. All right, yeah, grumpy old man. Come on now, Robert, don't do that. So listen, guys, that's Robert De Niro. He had to pay. He even got cute with the judge. So I knew that thing wasn't going to go in his favor. He got cute with the judge. He got mad with the judge during this 8-day trial or whatever the case may be. But now he know you do not rule the world. So we're going to go ahead and move on to Timbaland, who, there's certain celebrities that you can't say anything about. Okay. Britney Spears is one of them. Beyonce and the Beehive. I mean, the list probably goes on and on. You got these top tier celebrities that if you say the wrong thing, their fans will come after you with a vengeance. So Timbaland said that, Justin Timberlake should have put a muzzle on Britney Spears' mouth. In other words, he's going to say, how you going to let some chick write about you in the book, running her mouth? You know better than that. Why you didn't put a muzzle on her? Well, honey, when the fans heard that he said that, they lost their natural mind. They said Britney been through a lot. Let her talk. They also said that y'all wrote a whole song about her, but now she can't say something about you in the book. They came for his neck. So he said what he said, but then he dog walked it back. He apologized. Now, hold on now. Let me see if we can get to where let me see if this is with the one I want. Yeah, let me see. Let's play this real quick. You're going to hear him say what he got to say.
Timbaland, my question for you, Cry Me a River is making headlines again because of Britney's memoir. She's saying that she's going crazy, right? I want to call it GT, but you got to put a muzzle on that girl. But you know what? We live in the age of social media and viral. Everybody want to go viral. I get it, because that's the way you make money. Go viral. I got to do something to get people attention.
All right. So he said, put a muzzle on her mouth. And then, the fans came for his neck. So he did apologize. Let me show you the apology. Okay. Let's see him apologize here. Let me go to his page. He apologized.
There's no explanation, nothing. I put a muzzle. I was like, yo, what the freak was I thinking about? I should never said it. To all the Britney fans, you're right, I'm wrong. Just rambling at the mouth. Just don't know what you're talking about, I can look outside myself and be like, I don't know, that wasn't a joke and that wasn't a nice thing to say. I'm sorry. I apologize to the Britney fans and her about respecting women. Hell yeah.
All right, so he apologized. Okay, he apologized because they was coming for him big time. And just go back and read a little bit of this to you. So Timbaland apologizes for saying Justin Timberlake should have put a muzzle on Britney Spears. He said, you have a voice. So on Wednesday, the music producer apologized on social media for comments he made about the longtime collaborator Timberlake's ex. Okay. Timbaland has apologized for comments he made about Britney Spears. The music producer recently came under fire for saying in an October 29th interview that his longtime collaborator Justin Timberlake should have put a muzzle on Spears amid allegations she's made about him that came to light following the release of her bombshell memoir, The Woman in Me. On Wednesday, Timbaland 51 issued an apology in a TikTok live stream after he received backlash. Timbaland, real name Timothy Zachary Mosley, shared a portion of the apology to his Instagram. There's no explanation, nothing, he said in a clip. Put a muzzle, yo, what the freak was I thinking about? I should have never said it. To all the Britney fans, you're right and I'm wrong. I can look outside myself and say that wasn't a joke and that wasn't a nice thing to say. I apologize to the Britney fans and her. Never too late to apologize, Timbaland wrote in the caption of the video, which was soundtracked by his One Republic's hit song, Apologize. Okay, so he put the song in the background. Okay, he laid it on thick. He said, I'm sorry. Although the live stream inspired, fans' recordings of the longer video have surfaced on social media. Come on, man, I'm keeping it 1,000 with y'all. But I'm sorry to all the Britney fans. Even to hear, the music industry veteran said, you have a voice. You speak what you want to speak. Who am I to tell you not to speak? And I was wrong. You know for saying that. Timbaland made the comments last month when he was in a conversation with fellow producer Knife Wonder at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., where he was asked by the audience member about one of his songs with Timberlake, Cry Me a River, being in the news again following Spears' mention of it in her memoir. She's going crazy, right? He said. I wanted to call JT and say, man, you should have put a muzzle on that girl. In Spears' memoir, the pop icon reflects on the 2002 music video for Cry Me a River, which she writes features a plot in which a woman who looks like me cheats on him and he wanders around sad in the rain. The Hold Me Closer singer writes that she felt as though the video in the song portrayed her as a harlot who broken the heart of America's golden boy, when in actuality, she was comatose in Louisiana and he was happily running around Hollywood following their 2002 breakup. Now, I ain't going to continue on with this. Listen, y'all get the point? Your thoughts?
First of all, let me say this. Timbaland has been a problem for quite a long time. And he has the befitting name Timbaland because he is the bottom of someone's shoe. Not even my shoe, but I am disgusted with this person. I remember he was in the media last year or the year before because he was talking about his wife and how he only married her because she looked like Aaliyah. I'm not sure if anybody remembers that. And I remember, because he also said the first time he saw Aaliyah, he fell in love with her and he wanted to be romantic with her. He was 23 and she was 16. He's a creep. He's a creep. And this is not something I'm saying. When you're a 23-year-old man falling in love with a 16-year-old, oh, please, you want me to be warned. Now, when I listened to this story and I was looking at it, because when I saw it on Instagram, I had so much going on in my life, I didn't even get a chance to dive into it. So my first time hearing it was when you just played it. I saw the apology, but I didn't hear what he said verbatim. So now when I'm seeing what he said and the space that he was in, oh, I have a major problem with that. But I'm glad he's taking all of his degeneracy to the mayonnaise community. Go do that on their stage. Because saying that you would want to put a muzzle on a woman, you're inferring that that woman is a dog. And Timbaland is a black man. And the reason that is significant, because when you say you want to put a muzzle on her, I translate that to mean keep that bitch quiet. That's what that means to me. And this is how a lot of black men carry on. Think about how they talk about black women who tell their truth. He is not sorry, okay? He forgot, okay, that when he was in these mayonnaise spaces, that he wasn't one of them. That's what he's sorry about, okay? Now, you cannot enter these mayonnaise spaces and insult the mayonnaise women the way that you insult Jada Pinkett and think you're going to get away with it, because he could have said that about Jada Pinkett and people would have laughed and it would not have been that big of a deal. But unlike in the black community, in some instances, the white sisters are not having it. Okay, and I stand for that because Timbaland has interfered with Justin and Britney's relationship for too long because he wrote that song and gave Justin Timberlake the beat for Cry Me a River. So when they said, "What do you think about that?" He should have just said what he said in the apology. You know what? It's social media. Everybody wants to go viral. Everybody has a story to tell. Keep it moving. But to say so flippantly, he should put a muzzle on her, that tells me that you say much, much worse about women who speak up behind closed doors. So I'm not buying the apology. He's a sexist. He's a creep. And if you ask me, he needs to be canceled. Remove his music from the catalogs, from all streaming platforms like you did R. Kelly, because he's a predator.
Whew. Alrighty, E has spoken. In my opinion, your thoughts?
I agree with E. I feel like he's the type of person that nobody should be looking up to for any advice for anything. I feel like he is the worst person in the world to even try to tell Justin Timberlake what he should have been doing. What he should have been doing was working on his career, his failing career at that. I think the mere fact that he asked that he should have put a muzzle on her like he had some kind of power over this woman for speaking up and speaking her truth is distasteful and disingenuous. And I feel like he came running back to us to apologize because those fans was on his neck. It wasn't because he was sincere and he felt bad about it. No, it was because they was all in his comment sections and they was tearing him up as they should have. Because we're not in the 1700s, okay? You will not silence a woman anymore. We have a right to speak our truth and speak it loud and proud. So if Britney wanted to yell it from the mountaintop, she had that right.
Yeah. Ooh. All right, here, hot mess. All right now. Felicia, your thoughts?
Hey, listen, I definitely understand E, and in my opinion, I do stand with them, but I appreciate a good apology. I thought it was pretty good. I thought that he realized that he was going to be hurting somewhere. Maybe he didn't care about the fact that he wanted to silence a woman, but he understood. And from what we know from Timbaland, he's always in lawsuits. So he understands what it's going to cost you. And so clearly he could see that there was going to be a hit on him economically. And he needed to walk it back. And I thought he did a good job of walking it back.
All right. Thank you, Felicia. Aces, your thoughts?
I feel like a lot of people, Timbaland and Justin Timberlake, they're stuck in the 2000s, right? Britney has gone through so much in her life. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to read that book, but from growing up in Louisiana to, dealing with Justin Timberlake, to her father putting her into that, conservatorship for years. Timbaland and Justin, I feel like, they got a wake-up call, both of them, because Justin said he was planning this comeback, but it's, been derailed by Britney's memoir. I'm glad that she wrote her truth. I'm glad it's a New York bestseller. I'm glad that, she's having an opportunity to finally speak, because she has been silenced literally from her father, from Justin, from Timbaland, from, all these people in the industry. Barbara Walters was coming at her. She was, hypersexualized as a young girl, a teenager. I'm glad. I feel like it's long overdue. And I agree with the rest of the panel. Timbaland only walked it back because of the money and because of the social media backlash. I don't think it was sincere at all. I really don't. Just, again, looking at, the longevity of his career, how he did, go after Aaliyah when she was, again, a teenager. I don't think his apology was sincere. I think it was a cost risk analysis that he did quickly in his head. He added those, dollars and cents up, and he put out that apology. But you know what? I love Gen Z. I'm a millennial, but I love Gen Z because they don't play. Social media is transparent, and I really wish that we had it back when we were in No, I don't. Never mind. Let me walk that back. But it holds people accountable in ways that we didn't see it in the past. So that's all I'm gonna say on that.
I hear you. Julius, your thoughts?
She already had a muzzle on her for 13 years.
Oh, shoot.
All right, come through.
So let's talk that shit, shall we?
Keep going.
She already had a muzzle on her for 13 years. And you know what? She is roaring. Calm, cool, selectively, and strategically.
Mm-hmm.
Brittany ain't new to this. She true to this. And Justin has ridden on her coattails for far too long. Had the whole world backing him when they first separated, even though I was a little lad at the time. And Cry Me a River. What goes around comes around. Had a instrument part in why she was divorced. No more muzzle. Like that book says in the back of you, she's worthy to speak.
Okay, now. Come on now.
She's speaking.
She's speaking.
She ain't trapped. They want
Worthy.
her trapped.
Okay.
They want her drugged up and high. No more of that.
Oh, shoot.
She roaring. And you know what's going to happen next?
What?
Her boys are going to realize that they were used as pawns that made fools out of.
Ooh.
It's only a matter of time. I yield back.
Well, thank you, Julius. All right, now. The boys are going to wake up. Woo! That's a story in and of itself. Wayne, your thoughts?
Well, I must live under a rock because I didn't know who Timbaland was. However, so therefore I can't pass judgment on whether his apology was sincere or not. It sounded okay to me. You know, I'm with Felicia on this, but I think he knows the power of social media. So if he didn't walk it back, you know, it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. So he said his apology, whether people think it's sincere or not, he said it. You know, it's out there. They ain't coming after his neck no more, you know. He learned real quick. You know, some people take a, you know, yeah, okay, I'm going to keep on. I'm not taking it back. I meant what I said, you know.
That's true.
He walked that back real quick. And, you know, a few more weeks, you won't hear nothing no more about it.
You got some money on him. He worth $85 million. Emmanuel, your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I hate social media.
Yeah.
These social media people who quote unquote hold people accountable are weird. And those people who will fight you for one of their favorite singers, they gotta have some sort of issues from their childhood because that's not normal. Listen, I love my singers too. I'll go to the concerts, but I will be out of my mind if I'm ever gonna be fighting for them. Like, that's ridiculous. As far as this situation, I mean, if he felt like it was needed for him to apologize, then I understand that. But I have a problem with the selective outrage, and I have a problem with the double standards in today's society. So when it comes to her, she can speak her truth. She can say whatever she wants because it's her truth and women are done being silent. But why is it that a woman speaking her truth comes at the expense of a man losing his voice? This is the problem that I see, that a lot of women are trying to take away a man's manhood, and they should be quiet. They should stay out of it. No, he was in this relationship that happened 20 years ago. He has a right to tell her to shut up if he feels like it. You know what I mean? So it's not a one-sided thing. So that's kind of what my problem with it is.
Oh, they said speak for the man, Emmanuel.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Right. Said yes.
But
Okay.
he's
The
already
trash
been
man,
dragged
that's
into
what
her
he's speaking
impeachment,
for.
so she has the right to
Excuse
speak
me.
back.
That man has already spoken. He spoke first. He took away her voice. Remember, he made the songs about her. He spoke about her on the radio. He did several interviews. So when you say it, she's speaking at his expense, didn't he speak at her expense first? Like a lot of men do. So you get to initiate verbal warfare, and then when somebody returns fire, or oh now you feel violated. If you kept your mouth shut and kept your pillow talk off of the radio and off of the CD, no, Brittany wouldn't have had anything to reply to. Now we're interested and we want her to keep on talking. It's ladies' night.
Yeah, and let me clarify that, because I don't want it to sound like I'm saying she doesn't have the right to speak. I love you too. She has the right to speak, absolutely. But this man right here, Timbaland, he has just as many rights because he's a free American citizen. So if he wants to say put a muzzle on it, shut her up, he can do so as
Has
well.
nothing to do with being a free American citizen. Now I'm gonna dispel this right here. It was misogynistic. Now, do I agree with some of the videos that Britney does in her Instagram? No. It's a difference in demeaning someone, which Justin in a roundabout way is still doing 24 years later. Let's just know that fact. And not wanting the backlash. I mean, think about Janet's documentary. He came out with that whole statement beforehand.
And
it's long overdue.
And it's not only that. You have to think about the messenger. Timbaland is a black man who's coming from a community where there isn't camaraderie against black men and black women right now. So you think that you're going to take your degeneracy over to the white community and talk about people who you don't have any affiliation with, because that would be liking to Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera coming on and answering questions about DDG and Halle Bailey. Don't nobody need to hear that from Timbaland. Mind your black business.
Okay.
And as women, we are tired of men having to bond by disrespecting a woman and putting her in a so-called place.
Yes.
That's going to have to stop, because we have the right to walk around just like y'all and have an opinion, just like y'all, or be able to speak our truth, just like y'all, without having to be told that we need to put a muzzle on it or sit in our place or be quiet. Like, no, we have a right just like they do.
Yes, and how do you come out of my uterus, but then you grow up and think you put me in my place? No, I tell where the places are around.
Thank you, E.
Well, equal rights, equal fights. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, when y'all
it's
get
not about equal rights.
When you start having babies, we'll give you equal rights.
Come on, in my opinion.
Well, I made them. The baby wouldn't be there without me.
You make them and you leave. Let me tell you something. There's so many women out here that we have to deal with it after y'all get up and pack y'all little funky little bag and leave. Okay, we still got them babies here. Okay, we take care of them, we feed them, we clothe them, we emotionally responsible for them. While you go pick on your next target that you're gonna have a baby with and leave that woman in distress too.
That's right. In my opinion, we playing tennis over here. My court, your court. Let's go.
Nah, we playing chess tonight. It's on site.
Oh my God. Not your next victim. Well, okay.
I missed you guys.
No, Diva, I'm serious, because you think about it. Men use the codes, bros before hoes. What that's supposed to mean? Or they use the codes, the bro code. You know what I'm saying? Like, miss me with that. I'm tired of this male misogynist attitude, and we supposed to sit around and take it. Like, no, those are the days of the 1700s. We're in the 2023s, okay? We're not taking that no more. We're not going to lie down and take it, because women make just as much as men, sometimes more than men. So we're not going to sit here and pay your bills and then listen to your bull too. No.
Correct. And you see the way Timbaland came to Justin's defense, and Justin left him out to dry. Justin knowing that Timbaland is in the wrong. He ain't coming back. He ain't putting out no new music. We don't want to hear anything. Go cheat on your wife with your next hooker that you got behind the scenes. Justin has but he's done so much wrong to so many women. Emmanuel, I'm actually shocked at you because what Justin is doing goes against Christian principles. And for you to come up here and say, after you advocate so much for Christian values, how can you dare stick up for Justin after he's literally embarrassed and destroyed his own family?
Well, maybe that was in the past.
Multiple
Now,
times.
It was
He
just
was
last
just
year.
recently. A year ago, he was cheating on his wife. Multiple times.
That's
ain't
wrong
the
too.
first.
That's wrong too.
Okay, say that.
Ooh, okay, y'all. Woo. We gonna move on. Because we gotta talk about a.reid.
Ooh.
Now I didn't know what I didn't know. And I didn't know he was so messy. Now there's a new law in New York that they just put in place last year. And that is why she can sue, and this happened 21 years ago because of the new law. And they want y'all to know, anybody out there who wants to still come forward, you got to November 24th. So you too will have the opportunity. If somebody did something like this to you, you can still come forth and get some type of justice. Now we're going to have a discussion about this story, but I need everybody to be easy with the words, even in the chat. Because YouTube is very sensitive, but I think it's a conversation we need to have. So this young lady, she worked with a.reid over 2 decades ago. And I'm not going to bring up the article because one article got real graphic with it. Said exactly what she is accusing him of. And I'm going to be easy with my words and tell you the 2 times what she's accusing him of. One time she said it was on a plane. He forcefully kissed her and used his fingers, fill in the blank, and put it somewhere on her body. Y'all follow me, okay? Then she said it was another time. It was in a car. And she said a driver was present. The person driving the car. And he did the same thing again. And each time she said no. But then to put insult to injury, she said she was an up and coming, executive. And he derailed her career because it got so unbearable, she had to quit. Let me share a screen with y'all really quickly. a.reid is a mess. Let's go here and see what he said. So is this the one I want to show? I think it is. So Grammy-winning music exec a.reid is accused in lawsuit of SA. Remember, everybody, when we talk, be easy with your words. Drew Dixon is her name. And they also say in this article, they're not about outing somebody, but the woman put her name out there herself, okay? So Drew Dixon, who worked for Reid when he was chief executive of Arista Records, alleges that Reid essayed her twice in 2001 and later cut her budget and sidelined artists when she refuted his continuing advances, okay? So Antonio a.reid, the Grammy-winning music exec who influenced the career of artists including Pink, Usher, Mariah Carey, was sued by a former executive who says he essayed her and derailed her career. Drew Dixon filed the lawsuit Wednesday in New York federal court. Dixon, who worked for Reid when he was chief executive of Arista Records, alleges that Reid essayed her twice in 2001 and later cut her budget and sidelined artists when she refuted his continuing advances. Dixon left Arista in 2002 and contends that her, career and everything was cut short because of his harassment. The litigation is not only about the horrific physical assaults that Ms. Dixon had to endure, but it's also about the irreparable damage done to the rare and blossoming career of an extraordinary talent, that lawsuit said. Dixon is seeking unspecified damages. The Associated Press does not typically name people who say they were essayed unless they come forward publicly, which she did, okay? They left messages for his attorney And when Dixon first made her allegations public in 2017, weren't immediately returned for they didn't return the phone call, right? So the New York Times, which first reported the news of the lawsuit, said Reid didn't respond to multiple requests for a comment on Wednesday. NBC News has reached out to an attorney and representative for Reid. Dixon sued under the New York State Adult Survivors Act, passed last year, which allows alleged victims of SA a 1-year window to sue even if the original statute of limitations had passed. The deadline is November 24th. In 2017, Reid left his position as CEO of Epic Records after a former female assistant accused him of SH. So he's problematic. Now listen to what he told the New York Times when they first brought out this story. So Reid told the New York Times at the time, "I'm proud of my track record, promoting, supporting, and uplifting women at every company I ever ran. There's no withstanding. If I ever said anything capable of being misinterpreted, I apologize unreservedly." So he's saying, if you misinterpreted my actions, my words, then I apologize. Messy. In my opinion, your thoughts?
I think, okay, so let me. Women are so undervalued in the workplace that they feel like it's okay to do whatever to us because we're only women.
Right.
It's used to make them feel powerful and make them feel like they in charge and make them feel like, you know, they the man, rah, 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 you know. And I feel like to a certain extent, if we don't stand up for our own rights, if we don't stand up and say enough is enough, it's gonna keep on being the norm. It's become this thing where women are speaking out now, but this has been going on for years. And it was the norm. It was like shut your mouth and take it. And we don't want to just take it anymore. We want equal rights. Like, we should be able to go to work and not have to be groped or not have to be touched, not have to be put in a position where we feel uncomfortable. Like, we should be able to go to work and feel comfortable just like men do. And not saying that men can't be, but in those fields, you know, it's usually the women that have to suffer the brunt of it. And it's sad that we have to deal with these issues in 2023, but it is still an issue. And you should be speaking up into these injustices and making it where it doesn't happen anymore, because this is sad.
Yeah, it's very sad. Toria, I did not, but if you want to go look at my video when I put out earlier on this, they describe in detail exactly what he did. And I mentioned them too very briefly. But not only that, there was a woman from Epic Records that said the same thing. He seems to have a pattern. And he also, he says, listen, if you misinterpret it, anyway, Felicia, your thoughts? But I hear you. And before you go, Felicia, let me say this. Many people, with situations like this, a lot of times people say, why the long wait? The thing is, most of these people, a lot of times, they do cry out in the moment or ahead of time, but no one hears their cries. Why? Because at the time, that person is the big dog and they're making big money for the people they're working for, and they don't want to lose that money. Felicia, your thoughts?
Okay, I got a lot of things going on here, but if I can share the stats with the panel and the chat, I would appreciate that. Can I do that?
Yes.
Thank you. So 16 shocking workplace sexual harassment statistics. 63% of women do not file a complaint. 79% of men keep it to themselves. Nearly 3 in 4 SH claims in the workplace go unreported.
Wow.
55% of victims experience retaliation after speaking up or making a claim. 38% of women have experienced SH in the workplace. So let's get clear. This is, if you're in an office and is 10 people, 4 have dealt with some form of harassment. 39% of employees aren't confident that their issues will be addressed, and 46% fear retaliation. According to victims who have reported harassment, 95% of the men go unpunished. Women have a 54% chance of becoming a victim of harassment. 32% of employees aren't even aware that jokes can be considered SH. So with some of those data, here you have one that's really in your face. 68% of the LGBTQ population experience harassment in the workplace. So when we have these kinds of data and we're hearing this woman's story, she's coming forward. I gather after 20 years, she says, I'm putting my name and everything out there. I'm going to be real clear as to what happened to me. I think it's very common that this happens to folks in the workplace in some form of another. It's unfortunate. I hear you, in my opinion, that folks need to speak up. But did you hear that stat? 55% fear retaliation. So when you're going to come forward, and maybe you got 2 children at home that depend on you and your income, and you're debating, what am I going to do here? Am I just going to go find a new job? How long is that going to take? Am I going to get this person to stop? Can I avoid being in spaces with this person who is intimidating me, harassing me, touching me, groping me, speaking to me in a very verbal and very disgusting and disrespectful way? What am I going to do? And so while a person is going through that, we need to be more mindful that when we are in that same workspace and we see these things, we need to be as brave and as courageous and be that partner and be willing to risk to stand with that employee. Now, let me be clear, because I'm not naive and I've been in the American workplace a very long time. If you've got 1 or 2 people who are being SH, there's about 3 or 4 who are complicit. They're playing the game. So you got to read the room. You got to know who's on board with that behavior and who is not. And HR is not your friend. So if you decide you're going to HR, you better have documented. I don't care if you got to get one of those pens that can record. I don't care if you got to have your phone on everywhere you go. Wherever it is, you push the record button. Maybe that can be a deterrent. But I don't think that it takes the weak or the ones who are in a bad situation. It takes the brave. It takes the righteous. It takes someone who says, okay, I'm going to go look for another job anyway, because we know how this is going to go. 95% go unpunished. But are we going to really change it? Yes, we can. But it's going to take a collective effort. I commend this woman for coming out 20 years later, calling it out for what it is. And I am disgusted. And I'm so happy I'm being followed by Wayne. I'm just so disgusted by how men teach each other to be a predator and think it's being cool and swag and it's hip. And it's not. And it really does need to end. And it will end when we stand with our sisters and our brothers and say, this is wrong. And I've witnessed it. I've seen it. It was done to me. And I know that takes great courage and bravery, but we can do it.
Ooh, thank you, Felicia. Thank you for the statistics. Wayne, your thoughts?
I think that a.reid is probably kind of, taking it lightly because it's been so long. But the laws have changed. Ask E. Jean Carroll. She just sued 45 for several $millions. So, even though it was 20 years ago, this woman was longer than that, but 20 years ago. And like, Felicia said, I hope that she told somebody, she wrote something down, something where they can go back and verify it. Because if she can do that and have somebody, can witness, not actually witness the account, but of the account that she told somebody it happened or had been telling somebody, hopefully she can take this all the way up to the court. I'm not saying it's about the money, but if that's the result, because she takes it to court, she deserves it. This woman been traumatized. I'm sure it's for 20 years, and you can't tell nobody, and she's finally getting the opportunity to say something. So I hope she takes it all the way that the law will allow, and I hope she gets compensation. If the compensation happens to be in a few dollars, I hope she get it.
I hope so too.
Hey, Diva.
Yes.
She did say something though back in the day, but he stopped her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand why it's everybody making it seem like she didn't say something in the moment. She did. She actually lost deals that she could have worked with John Legend and Kanye West because of that. So she handled it the right way. It's just her voice wasn't being heard because a.reid is a.reid. His name has weight. Like, if we don't never talk, I get this. I get the statistics, but if we don't start making it okay for us to speak out and ask for the justice that we need and won't, then nothing is never going to change. We can't stay silent forever.
Yeah. Carrie, thank you for sharing. She said, my offender kept his job without punishment and the company fought for him. Your tax dollars paid for his defense. I'm so sorry, Carrie. Julius, your thoughts?
It doesn't surprise me. And I'm thinking of TLC in this moment. And here's why. Even though that was Pebbles' whole thing, right? There's no telling what say-so he had as to why they were treated so awfully until they got the manager that they got. That was for their benefit. And that's why I bring them up, because I believe it wasn't just Pebbles. It was a.reid too. And so I want to say, I hope this young lady is compensated. And I'm sorry for what she went through. And it's not just women in the industry, because some women do act like some of these men in the industry. There's two of every pot, and it's sad because no one deserves to be violated or lose their careers for saying no. And I wanna use your platform to say this. Yes means yes. No means no. And when someone says no, that's it.
Yeah. Thank you, Julius. Aces, your thoughts?
I think it's unfortunate, that a.reid, I watched your video that you made originally on the story, and your question about since he was so powerful and he's highly sought after, right? He could pretty much have any woman that he wanted. And for people who abuse their positions of authority, it's all about power. And like you said, it's a pattern, right? It's not just this one woman. So it's unfortunate, because I feel like, similar to, Robert De Niro and Justin Timberlake and Timbaland, all these men were at the top of their careers, at the top of the entertainment industry, and they look at themselves as demigods, right? Like, they buy their own hype, they believe their own hype. And so they feel like they can just talk to, women who are in vulnerable populations. A lot of times they need the work, and it's really unfortunate. It's all about power. And until we have some real policy changes across the board, the Me Too movement a few years ago had begun that. And I feel like there was such swift backlash, similar to, the protests of 2020. There's such a swift backlash to any kind of social progress. So I don't know. My question to the panel is, what do you guys think that we should do? Because when people march and there's a collective movement, then boom, there's a backlash. A lot of people were talking about, quote unquote, cancel culture, but many of those people still had, platforms. They were still employed. They were still doing fine. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, to be honest. It's unfortunate, though, and I hope that she sues him and wins.
Yeah. E, your thoughts?
So, my boo has dropped down. Emmanuel dropped down, but I wanted him to hear this because we need to talk about L.A. Kelly Reid. And before I take his bald-headed and bad-built ass through the cleaners, I have to say he definitely has a type. He has a type for sure. And I love when Black men come up through and make it to their careers and make all their millions, and then go get these women from these other communities and show them just how much of a predator and how malicious you can be. Because had this been a series of Black women, because more than one woman came forward, be clear. But had this been a series of Black women, I'm not sure that it would have gone as far as it did, because we saw, even when you're a Black woman and you have just a little bit of power, when we saw what happened to Judge Hatchett, they delayed everything. The man still got to keep his pension, and things just kind of fall by the wayside. She had to go down to the news station in order to kind of kick the ball in the right direction. But this accuser, this woman is from Arista Records. And I remember Arista, and a.reid was running things in the early 2000s. But just in 2017, he was the head of Epic Records. Okay, he's been at 4 different labels and has submitted his resignation, or for some reason is no longer there. That's a sign. That's a huge red flag to me. Okay, now, it wasn't just one young lady, like I said, but it was several. And I remember when it comes to Epic Records, and I believe you mentioned this, Diva, but there were several women who joined forces, because those women stick together. And over the course of 5 years, those several women, they banded together and they filed that lawsuit. And his Black ass got the boot because he's a liability, so rightfully so. And I believe 100% what I read in regards to one of those ladies talking about retaliation. And Felicia gave us the numbers. Hell yeah, I'm proud of these women going to HR, filing suit, getting everything documented, putting it in writing. Because if it was all just a misunderstanding, as he is trying to convince us to believe, why was he asked to submit his resignation? Let me tell you something. These women, they aren't lying. And we're not going to say, oh, that was a long time ago. Oh, things are different now. The laws are different. No, it's a pattern. And even if only 2 women came forward, you better know it's at least 6 more out there who haven't reported it. And by November 24th, I think you said that's the deadline, Diva. I hope all the women come forward. Take his ass to the cleaners. Now, when it was said earlier, women are speaking up at the expense of men, and that's why I wanted my boo to be up here, because I love him. But Think about all these record companies this man has had the opportunity to dibble and dabble and put his imprint on. He worked for LaFace, Arista, Epic,
Come
Sony.
on. Come
He's had his
on.
influence on so many artists, and he has had the power to say yes or no to so many women's careers, and that is what makes him malicious and dangerous. And women speaking up should be at his expense for what he has cost them. What he has taken from these women goes far beyond whatever backlash he is facing in the media. Felicia gave us the numbers. 90% of these predators do not receive consequences. And yes, companies have to fight to disprove these claims, because admitting this creep did this on our watch would cost us more money, would cost our reputation more scrutiny. And it sends a message to anyone else who may be thinking of coming forward with the case. We're going to squash you like a bug on a windshield. You won't be able to support you and your family. It can be very intimidating. Like Felicia said, and HR is there to protect the company first. So when we have this notion of equality and women speaking up, it costs men, it's not equal if women have to come out and speak up anyway. Because if it was equal, you would have never felt that you could yield your power over me, and that way you would have never done that to me if you respected me as an equal to begin with. It's not equal.
Whew. It's not equal. All right. Yeah. She also is claiming that Russell Simmons. Yeah, I saw that too, Q. Just terrible. But Russell has said that it was consensual. Well, he says that about everybody he's ever been with. That accused him of things. So Russell Simmons, he moved out of the country to avoid the smoke that allegedly was coming his way. And he did that because that guy was the first guy, the predator, that actually they claimed that he unalived himself in jail, which many people are saying that wasn't so, because he was on 24-hour watch. His name is Epstein wasn't the one. He wasn't the one. Who's the one in jail now? I thought Epstein was in jail, and the other one, I thought his name was a different. But you could be right. It could be
Harvey Weinstein.
Oh,
okay,
Weinstein.
right. So, no, you're right, E. So Epstein is the one that allegedly unalived himself in jail, and Harvey Weinstein is the one that actually went to jail. But they had allegedly a lot of celebrity names that was doing these horrific things along with those two. And they didn't want the black book to sort of come out, so to speak, because they said it would have shut down Hollywood. Those are the rumors. They said it would have shut down Hollywood. So when Epstein did that to himself, it was a matter of them not having to deal with all the other names that could have possibly came out as a result of him actually facing trial. Because, with Epstein, the actual police department allegedly warned him several times before he finally got to the very end where they had no choice but to lock him up. He was warned several times before that to knock it off. It's sad. It's messy. This is a conversation that is greater than this story, because it happens to everyday people, you know what I mean, that is not even on this higher level in the celebrity world like this. Happens to people. Yeah, Prince Andrew. Yeah. It was a lot of names. It was a lot of names that was going to come out, and then all of a sudden Epstein allegedly took his own life. Yes, Epstein catches alleged of famous people who visited the island. Among were the Clintons, former FBI directors, celebrities, etc. Yes, Raheem, you heard what I heard. And you would be kind of shocked at some of the names that was allegedly on this list. But he wasn't the only one. It's a lot of nasty people that was going there and with these young girls.
And it's a lot of young girls who grow up to be women who have to live with these stories and have not received justice. So when we talk about speaking up, it's for a reason.
It's for a reason. Yeah. And the name Me Too came about because it was like finally when there was someone, and I don't want to use the wrong words, but there was someone who, and this is not necessarily the right words, but brave enough to say, yo, this person did this to me. Other people were sitting in their home like, oh my God, me too. Because a lot of people that happened to, in their mind, they're thinking they're the only one. They're the
Tarana
only
Burke.
one.
Yeah.
Yes, they're the only one. And so because they're thinking they're the only one, they start to feel embarrassed. They start to feel ashamed. They start to feel so much. And then you hear somebody come out and say, well, so-and-so did this to me. And they're sitting back like, oh my God, me too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the trickle of people come and they, start to talk. I will say this. Yes, do some women lie? They do. Some people do. Because some people will hear the story and they just want to get on the bandwagon and get money. So that is unfortunate also.
But the statistics show the women who those false stories, if I'm not mistaken, it's between 1 and 12%. It's not that much. So that means the other 80-90% of women who are coming forward, that means they're telling the truth. So that outweighs the little bitty people who are coming forward and making up stories, because there's so many more who are not saying anything because they're afraid.
Absolutely. Yeah, and some do it for revenge. But I just wanted to acknowledge there is a piece to that. But I don't think, this woman is lying. But like we said, we have to let it play out. And time will tell and things will be seen. So listen, guys, that's all of our stories. But I need about, let me see how many seconds I need. I only need 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Let's go right into our feel good story here.
Everyone can learn from a 4-year-old. We end the week with Steve Hartman.
All right, guys. That's our feel good story there. Hey, Jews.
Hey,
60
beautiful.
seconds.
Hey, Miss Juice.
Hey. What are your thoughts, in my opinion, on that feel good story?
Well, Diva, you brought it to my city. Well, let me tell you. Actually, our homeless population has gotten really bad. And a lot of people have done this. When we go downtown to the downtown area, even though our people have tried to fix the downtown area, nobody's looking at the homeless. And our shelters are so full that there are people that actually are sleeping out on the streets and under the bridges and paths. So a lot of people, different churches, different families have all agreed to go down there to Lynn Park, to the downtown area, to the shelters even, and try to give out food to the homeless. And I am so glad to see that a 4-year-old took the time out to share. Instead of getting his toys and his allowance, he put that toward feeding somebody else in need.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you, in my opinion. Felicia, your thoughts?
Oh, Diva, I just loved it. And I love that boy's smile and his heart and the way he spoke. He spoke so well. So that tells me that he is loved and protected by his parents.
Mm.
It was just a joy to see him out there, and he had no hesitation engaging with other people that he doesn't know. And when he says it's the highlight of his life, I believe him to give and to serve others. And I wish him and his family the best of everything in the future.
Yes, amen. Wayne, your thoughts?
I agree. And hopefully this story will go viral, and other parents that have children these ages, you know, it would give them some kind of inspiration to teach or expose their children to uh, random act of kindness, just something they have in there, as they're growing up, to think about somebody else. because hold on. Okay, that's it.
Okay. Julius, your thoughts?
I want to give kudos to that boy's mother and father.
Mm-hmm.
They are teaching him young that he is no different than anybody else, and that sometimes you just get down on your luck.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes my heart smile watching how happy they get, because it's just like that's how I feel when I go to my old church and I feed with my current church and I feed the homeless. And they bought the homeless people gave me a confidence boost on my cooking. Talking about this tastes like mama's cooking and all of that, you know. And his slogan is true.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget to show love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
More of that needs to happen. It's long
Yeah.
overdue.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Julius. Ace, is your thoughts?
I think that he is just the most adorable little boy. You know, his parents are doing a phenomenal job, and you can tell that his cup is overflowing with love so that he can show that to others. And the line about, it being the highlight of his life, his, very short life, I think that that was just amazing. It was adorable. I
Mm-hmm.
can't wait to see, hopefully, they, stay in contact with him and we see what he does in the future.
Yeah, he said, listen, I think I wanted to show, I think this had the other piece I wanted to show. So I'm coming to you, E, but let me play this and see if this shows, okay?
Oh wow, thank you for the second part. That's amazing. Not him being an entrepreneur and a businessman at four.
Come on now.
I love
Yes, and
that.
he has his own
A
Facebook
time and a
page and
reason. God
everything.
is using them both.
I love
Yes.
That's
that.
something.
Thank you.
Yes. E, your thoughts?
Well, I especially like that he named his alter ego or his superhero named President Austin, I believe. Please correct me if I am wrong.
You are
But
correct.
I thought that was so endearing. And when the narrator said, maybe one day he won't have to be a superhero. Hopefully, one day he will grow up to be the president because that's just the type of people we need in public service. And in a day and time where we see so many people, Black people, hashtagging N words for Trump, here we have this little kid who is saying, I'm going to get in the field. I'm changing lives one person at a time. I mean, the from the mouths of babes, the simplest acts of kindness can really make the biggest impact. And that's what we need to see more of. And I like Felicia said, his parents are speaking life into him because it doesn't appear to me that they come from money, but just the virtue of giving and the selflessness of it, and of that little boy. I mean, it's just so it's remarkable. It's remarkable, and I hope that he maintains that level of humility as he gets older, and I hope that no one taints it or corrupts his giving heart.
Yeah, I think he will, and he has, because I found another video where he was a little bit older than 4, and he said he ditched the superhero costume. He said because it was drawing too much attention, and it wasn't about me. It's about me feeding the people.
Wow.
And this boy he was no more than 5 or 6 at that time. I was trying to find that one for you. I'm telling you
He's
this.
in the 4th grade now, and he's just made student of the month at his school.
Thank you, in my opinion. Woo. Juice, your thoughts?
Girl, when I tell you God is an on-time God, I just finished my show, and normally after I finish mine, and normally I finish about 8:30 so I can come on over here, but it ran a little bit late.
Okay.
And I was like, I got to get over and just give my hearts and kisses to Diva's channel. I
Oh,
normally just would drop the hello in the chat and put my thumbs up on your videos. But today it went a little over, which was good because when I came in, I looked at your thumbnail and I was like, oh no, I'm not in the mental mind space to put up with this. But I said, I'm going to just give her my hearts anyway. So when I clicked on your video to give you my thumbs up and to go in the comments, the little boy was on there and he was saying, show love. And I said, hold on, wait a minute. This has nothing to do with this thumbnail. And so I immediately paid attention. And then I looked and I saw you had a few seats left in the train. And I said, well, this is a miracle.
Oh,
so
shoot.
let me go ahead and click on because God, I'm going to just follow your lead.
Okay.
And so I'm here right on time for this. Diva, thank you so much for that. I want to get more information about that and why this is so powerful to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that everything is divine is because just this morning, I was sitting at my desk having a conversation with an attorney. And when I got off the phone, we were talking about evictions and so forth. When I got off the phone, I said, Lord, I would love to be able to find a way to get a building or connect with people that can help us get a building to help not just have a homeless shelter, but a shelter of transition. Help people to get from the homeless place to a new transition in their life, a better place, to teach them, give them the tools and resources and education that they need to be able to go from a temporary residence to their permanent residence. And then you bring this video up. So I'm so grateful to you, Diva. I would love for you to text me the information about what you have for this young man.
Okay.
I'm going to get on the phone and try and connect in some kind of way. But this has now enlightened me and put a jolt in me to say, okay, now come on, this little kid is doing this. Look how much more you can do.
Right.
So I'm about to thank you, Diva, for this.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Oh, thank you. And my God is an on-time God. Won't he do it? Yes,
ain't he though?
I will answer myself. Yes, he will.
Well, in my opinion, seemed to have went down the rabbit hole already, like she normally does.
I love her.
Yes.
Well, he's moved. He's not here in Birmingham anymore. Okay, he moved to Texas about 6 months ago.
Okay.
He's on the baseball team there, and he seems to be thriving. Okay, I did know of his work because, like I said, I work with the homeless downtown because I was once homeless, and I told y'all that was like it was really rough for me. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I had failed my kids. But through that all, I learned that there were some amazing people that were just down on their luck.
Yeah.
That anybody could come homeless. And so my mission from that point on was I never want another mother to feel the same way I felt. Because I cried every day that I had to go there. And I suffered in silence for a long time. So I still help out, with our homeless. And like I said, it's really bad. It's to the point where all our shelters are completely full, even to the point where they're having people on the floor. And people are still living under the underpasses and stuff like that. And so when it gets really, really cold, of course, the Red Cross will chip in the money to have the Bout Well or the Civic Center open up so that the homeless is not out in the cold elements or when it's extremely hot. But what happens on the days when it's not extremely hot or it's not extremely cold, those people are still on the street. That's just a blanket that we're putting over it. And I feel like it's not enough that we can do. And so now I'm connecting with the Salvation Army to help out with their transition program. Good. What they're doing is working to transition people into a program where they can help them get jobs, where they can help them get clothes. It's just not enough people are donating. So I'm going to help them out as much as I can. I told the lady I was going to get on it.
I love it. I love it. We do have to help out and get more education on the homeless. And, normally I don't address the haters, but I'm going to say this, Monique, as I was speaking to the eviction attorney, we were trying to work out a way that we could help the individual that was facing eviction. But thank you so very much if you were referring to me, if that's the case. But you know what, in my opinion, we do have to do more than just shelter people that are homeless. We have to get them in a position and get them the things and tools that they need to be able to no longer depend on that housing system, or not it be a lifetime situation. And a lot of those shelters are just temporary. And I love the work that they do by taking them in. We do need to have more, because there are a lot more individuals that unfortunately are facing homelessness, because again, they're not getting the financial assistance that will help them to not end up in that same position. A lot of people got a lot of money and funds during the seed that just happened, you know, in 2020 and so forth, for those 2 years, but they weren't educated on what to do with those funds when they got them. So a lot of that money went to be used wastefully. And unfortunately, a lot of these people then ended up in a position where they no longer were able to maintain the residence in which they were residing, whether it be a rental property or a mortgage or their own property. So we do need to do a lot more. Housing is one thing, but getting housing, getting education so that people can understand how to better their future is also needed as well. And I love you, in my opinion, for all that you're doing. Your heart is there for people. And even though you went through that terrible thing, it wasn't terrible at all, because all it did was get you ready to be able to help others that may go down that same path. And also you can be a barricade to block others from not ending up that way. So what you went through was divine and set up, and it was for you because you could handle that. And you're now coming out saying, I'm going to save other people. So I love that for you. Thank you so much. And Diva, thank you again also for having this on the platform.
No problem. Thank you. And I definitely will text you. Leo, your thoughts about to close out?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Diva. And unfortunately, I've also dealt with the unhoused and the transit community in the sense of hiring for those who don't have a specific address, that actually live in like communities in fairgrounds or places like tent communities. And I love the fact of helping people for this very reason. When this happens, you get to hear their stories. You get to hear what got them in this place and what happened. And what I come to understand is that all people who work for the man is one check away from being homeless.
Yeah.
One check away from being homeless. So don't turn your nose up at these people. Don't make like, well, that ain't me. No, it could be you. It could be you at any particular time, from medical expenses, from getting injured on the job, from having substance abuse, from losing a partner who was the main breadwinner, and you still have children.
Yeah,
I mean, there's so many scenarios that will have you to be unhoused. So I appreciate this young man and his heartfelt enthusiasm. Okay, enthusiasm for helping those who are in need. And all the people who do this work is yeoman's work. Only God knows how people can keep up, because it was even hard for me dealing with it, hearing people's stories. To not dig, honey, I was digging in my pocket and giving up my lunch to people. Okay, I mean, because you feel so bad, you know.
Yeah,
feel so bad. I used to set up kits for people when they would come in the office. We used to have coffee. I have donuts. I have hygiene kits with toothpaste and soap and razors, and it's just so hard to listen to the stories and not feel compassion.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, I always think of that song. It's a gospel song. It could have been me. It could have been me out there with no clothes, no shoes, or whatever the case may be. And that young man is like, whoa, okay. And all I could say is to everybody tonight, don't forget to show some love. Don't forget to show some love, right? Because you never know what a person is going through. You never know how they ended up there. I don't know if you'll remember. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. I showed the story with the janitor who he was. I think he was like he did something. he did something before, he became like he ended up, doing this job as a janitor. It's like you just never know. Never turn your nose down to anybody because it could, come on now. That's my song too. Could have been me.
That's
and
right.
I realize that. And every day I wake up, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for what I have. I'm grateful for the people in my life. I'm grateful that I woke up and I got another chance, right? One check or one bad decision can turn your whole life upside down. That's a fact, Perry. Thank you for that. That's a fact. That's a fact. One moment. And that's why they tell you, you know what, when these people, they're in the streets, they're arguing, right? I will say this, last week in Brooklyn, I think it was last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, they did just an argument over noise. Now, a husband is gone, the son is gone. And I want to say now the man who did it, I want to say the police ended up taking him out. Now he's gone over noise. 3 people gone over noise. It's crazy. Hashtag show some love, people. Thank you for being here. If you didn't hit the like button coming in, hit it on the way out. This has been Trending Topics Thursday. I'm glad y'all spent this moment in time with me. I'm coming in under time. Amen. Okay. I'll see y'all tomorrow night for Friday Night Trending Topics. I love y'all. Good night and goodbye, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Choo choo.